looking down river towards the lake amidst the glitter of thousands of locks of love and dedication. Oh, insecurity there. It wants a back door. See, they are supposed to throw the key into the water, but if you got a combination lock, wink wink. This morning I'm going hiking up to a small town called Uetilberg, outside of Zurich, up on the mountains. You can see it from across the lake yesterday. And then we'll hike the Panorama trail, also known as the Trail of Planets, to Felsneck, and then back by cable car and train. This train is like a bus that stops at all these stops on the route in these outlying areas of Zurich. Notice bike paths everywhere. Quickly arriving at Uetilberg on this train, which was put in service not so long ago to go directly from Bahnhof to here, which is really outstanding. And as you'll see, everything is beautifully marked. The wonderful thing about, so far, and from what I read, the trains and tram and cable system in Switzerland and also Austria. There's this little fountain, isn't that cute? Is that the trains quickly whisk you into the mountains up to the top, where you can do the most dramatic hiking without having to fight your way up. We're going to Felsneck, about an hour, 2-hour hike from here. This hike we're taking is from here, Uetilberg, and this is the sun, S-O-N-N-E, and we'll follow it down to, I can't read that, but it should be Felsneck somewhere. And this is also called the Planet Trail, for the obvious reason that they put icons along here that reflect not only the size of the planet, or the sun, relative to each other, but also in distance. So we continue on up the hill to the ridge line that we'll follow. Everything here in Switzerland that I can gather is neat, even if it's just lumber or timber being stored for the future. This is Mercury, so tiny in comparison to our sun that it's represented just by that blue circle. It also gives you our first relativity of distance between the two. Now here's Venus. Again, nothing to tell us that, but down there is the sun. Now, interestingly enough, here we are at Earth. I thought there would be globes, but there aren't, and there's the sun down there, so it gives us a relative interesting light posts. Never seen the like before. There's more further up, it appears, up at the top where there's a huge microwave tower, and this hotel that probably is the justification for those interesting light posts that we saw. I'll just do pretty much a 360 from the top, looking down on Zurich, the part that I normally don't see, as I would be right over there. There's the lake that we hiked along the far side yesterday. And Lake Zurich. And I believe that we'll end up hiking along that ridge line. And hopefully the weather will stay moderately okay, although it's supposed to be rainy today. And off we go. Earlier, a woman I queried at an intersection said I could go to Felsneck either way. And this is what I think she meant. You could climb either to the top, which I did, and then take these stairs back down to the road I would have been on if I'd stayed to the right. Notice the composition of the top of this mountain. Very much a deposition uplifted to this peak. My first wild Swiss critter rapidly trying to escape my camera. This is Jupiter. I can only assume that it's about the approximate proportionate size to the sun that we saw, but far too circuitous a distance back for us to be able to see that original sun, but you can keep it in mind. Everywhere the flow of water, all for drinking. Homes up here also. All the trails are well signed, even indicating various services. Restaurant, Fountain Seg, where we're going, will be a restaurant. It even gives the time, 1 hour and 20 minutes from here. This is a nicely developed picnic outpost, if you will, with views and the obligatory water fountain and a beautiful picnic layout area with controlled burn furnace, and yet if you want the more rustic, there's that and that. How did they do it? This is a view poking through the trees on the trail. A small hamlet. This is on the other side of the mountain, or the ridge that I'm walking along from Zurich, the opposite direction. A real live snail in the wild. It's working its way up or down the tree, you can't really tell. But it seems to have a grip on things. Another long distance view of this land, Switzerland. No surprise that this is Saturn. It's interesting that Swiss farmers use this rather modest and fragile, but electrical, fence to keep their cows in. Pretty purple flower. Haven't seen something like this before in the States to my knowledge, although we might have something like it. It's a common flower in Jackson, at least, and in most of the United States, at least the northern part, I think. In this little ball, I put my hand so you can see the size, is Uranus. I never realized that it was so small. Large dairy operation. So large that it has its own cable car, which is that thing right there, for bringing stuff up to from the valley quickly. And this fellow here brought his own bear. What you hear is a small herd of cows around to the left behind those trees. This might be called a high mountain Swiss symphony. Some more of those interesting trees that we saw yesterday, but these more interesting because they're larger. They have all of that moss on them. And then below them, these curious structure here, whether this was a support in the past for some kind of building, I can't tell. But you can see some of those are notched and some are not, apparently to stabilize something. Interesting.
C'est sûrement de l'eau. Hop, alors. Tu dois être là. Attends, je te ça. Ich habe dann wohl nicht so gemacht, habe ich so den Finger gemacht. Du, die hat mir gezeigt.
Zurich to Zurich Bahnhof. These are excellent trains. You can't say enough about them. Everything is top drawer, top maintained. Here's an alternative in metal. Not much better.